A very good morning to you watching the Channel 9 Breakfast Show on Thursday, the 19th of February. I'm Nikki Dean.
And I'm Byron Evans, and I'm proud as punch to be living in Manchester. The front page of the Manchester Evening News dominated by the boys from Bury this morning as they picked up Best British Band at last night's Brit Awards. The plaudits are coming thick and fast for these lads after they won the Mercury Music Prize in the latter stages of last year for their fantastic album, The Seldom Seen Kid.
And perhaps even more exciting than winning the award itself was the fact that David Hasselhoff, the Hoff, gave it to them. That's pretty exciting, isn't it?
It's great, and I think they're fantastic advocates for music in Manchester and also musicians all over the country, proving that you don't have to sacrifice your style, you don't have to dilute your sound just to appease record companies. You can produce fantastic music, innovative stuff, and still get recognised for it.
Keeping it real, that's what they were doing.
Come on, lads.
Oh, yes, it was a great night. Duffy, of course, picked up 3 of the 4 nominations that she was up for and did a bit of a turn as well, entertained the crowd.
Yeah, she won Best British Breakthrough Act, she won Best British Female, and she also picked up Best British Album for Rock Ferry, which has sold 4.5 million copies to date. And undoubtedly, after last night, she'll be selling a lot more.
Probably got a bit of a sore head as well.
Yes, indeed.
Celebrations, but great night had by all. In just a couple of minutes, the latest sports headlines. Plus, we'll be chatting to Chris Bailey, Manchester City correspondent at the MEN. He is live from Denmark ahead of City's UEAFA Cup match against FC Copenhagen later tonight. But before all of that, it's time for today's news with James Webster.
Good morning. These are the day's main headlines so far. The death investigations are starting after a bruised baby boy was found dead in a cot at a house in Rochdale. Tests have so far failed to work out how the youngster died on the Kirkholt estate. His family called for an ambulance on Sunday morning and they were known to social services before then. The head of children's services at the council says this is an absolute tragedy. As the investigation into the cause of the child's death has not yet been concluded, it would be inappropriate for me to make any further comment at this time. Investigations will get underway later after a helicopter ditched into the North Sea near Aberdeen. All 18 people on board, including 15 oil workers, survived. They were on their way to a BP oil platform and had all managed to climb onto life rafts. Cannabis with a street value of almost £9.5 million was seized across Greater Manchester last year. Police uncovered 226 farms containing more than 62,000 plants. More than 2,000 were found in one house in central Manchester. The biggest seizure so far this year was a farm of 3,000 plants in Trafford last month. CCTV images of the moment a shop worker is threatened by an armed gang in Hale have been released. The member of staff is seen cowering as robbers threaten to beat him with a crowbar at the Tesco Express on Ashley Road. Seconds earlier, the robbers, who also used golf clubs to terrorise staff, are seen leaping over the counter to grab cigarettes and cash from 2 tills. It happened last Thursday evening and police think the gang might have bragged about what they did since. Train companies are being criticised for charging more to travel here than it costs in Europe. The pressure group Passenger Focus says fares for turning up on the day rather than pre-booking are much more expensive than on the continent. Their report found one ticket in Amsterdam was more than 3 times the cost of an equivalent journey here. The family of a man crushed to death by falling girders on Barton Bridge 50 years ago is promising to keep his memory alive. Mark McGarry from Collyhurst was killed in an accident during the construction of the bridge that takes the M60 over the Manchester Ship Canal. He had nothing but a cloth cap for protection, which led to calls for more safety measures at the time. His daughter, Maria Lyons, is marking today's anniversary with her 6 brothers and sisters. Pressure's being put on some of Greater Manchester's councils to spend more money levelling out their pavements. 3 of our boroughs have been named as having some of the most uneven walkways, and campaigners want something done about it, as Georgia Calvin-Smith has been finding out.
3 boroughs in Greater Manchester have appeared in amongst the top 5 of a list of the places in the northwest with the most perilous pavements. More than a third of the footways in parts of Greater Manchester need to be repaired, but those in Oldham, Bolton and Bury are the worst. Not only do broken paving stones look pretty bad, they're also dangerous because they increase the risk of falls, particularly for older people. Falls are one of the leading causes of death for the over 75s, and according to Help the Aged, almost 2,500 older people fall because of broken paving stones every day, and they're calling for councils to invest more money in making public walkways safer for those with mobility problems.
Just they're all uneven, they're all loose. I've tripped over twice and we've been in Bury a couple of hours. So they need addressing.
Because it's public safety. It's just as much as if a big hole appeared in the road, they'd have to fix it pretty quickly, hopefully. It's the same on the pavement, is that people need to be able to walk safely. So, yeah, I think it's a priority.
I mean, look, there's cracks on there, raised flags all over. I mean, if you're unsteady on your feet, then, yeah, there's every possibility you're going to fall. Yeah, we pay enough council tax, don't we? They should be maintained.
Help the Aged has acknowledged that councils can sometimes face difficulties in allocating enough money to deal with repairs. But well-maintained pavements could not only save local authorities cash paid out in compensation for accidents, but also improve the confidence and quality of life of those most likely to slip between the cracks. Georgia Calvin-Smith, Channel M News.
6 albino frogs and crested gecko tadpoles have been seized at Manchester Airport after being imported illegally. They were brought into the UK from America by a commercial importer who didn't have the right paperwork. Trade in geckos is regulated to protect the species, while bullfrogs are banned from the EU to protect native species. The Victim Support Service is campaigning to raise awareness of its work. They think too many people suffer because of criminals but don't realise what help's available. They've been holding an event here in Greater Manchester to explain how they can get involved.
Victim Support is a national charity that provides emotional and practical support to victims of crime. We receive referrals on a daily basis from the police, other agencies and self-referrals of people that have been a victim of crime or are being a witness due to attend court. We deal with all types of crimes ranging from criminal damage, burglary, right through to domestic violence, rape and sexual assault and families bereaved by homicide. It could be practical support, it could be emotional support, it could be help with compensation, it could be security. Whatever they need, we will assess and look at whether we're the organisation to deliver that. Nationally, we receive just over 1.5 million referrals a year. Victim Support Week started on Monday, and it's just an opportunity for us to promote the organisation, promote the service and just to let people know what we're about, what we do and how they can get in contact with us.
Finally for now, countless boxers have tried to rearrange Ricky Hatton's face without success in the boxing ring before, but now an artist from Stalybridge has managed to knock the Hyde hitman into shape. Sculptor Irene French has created a clay bust of Hatton because she says he has such an interesting face. It's a change from her usual work, though. She normally specialises in bronze statuettes of horses. That's it from me for this morning. I'll have more for you in the Channel M lunchtime news at 12 noon. Don't forget Andy Crane's here as well from 5 tonight. Now, though, Byron and Pete have the morning sport.
Manchester United asserted their dominance in the Premiership last night, beating Fulham 3-0, putting them 5 points clear at the top of the table. Whereas on the blue side of town, Manchester City are preparing for the UEFA Cup clash with FC Copenhagen this evening. Joining me to have a bit of a chat this morning is Pete Spencer, the sports editor of the Manchester Evening News. Morning, Pete.
Morning.
Now, we should have Chris Bailey on the phone, who is live from Denmark. Chris, are you joining us this morning?
I am. Half alive, I think, would be the right phrase. Shivering to death.
Well, heart bleeds for you, Chris. You're in Copenhagen enjoying yourself, and we're in Manchester.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's the latest with the team news? Have you been reporting in tonight's paper that Richard Dunn will be back taking the armband?
Yeah. All fitting well. They all trained last night. Wasn't an exhaustive or exhausting training session on a pitch that's just been relaid and in the snow. But it's they all trained. They all seem fit. So that means Micah Richards is available for selection. Richard Dunn and Sean Wright-Phillips back from suspension.
And of course, Hughes is still battling to get the most out of his Brazilian stars. There's a lot of speculation in today's paper about Rubinho's dress sense at Manchester Airport. He's just about wearing the correct clothing, i.e. a suit, but he's got training shoes on and he hasn't tucked his shirt in.
Heaven forbid.
So the implication of that is that he's going some way towards fitting in with the strict disciplinarian, which is Mark Hughes, but perhaps not as much as the other players.
Well, they all have if you look at all of them, they all have variations on a theme. Some of them wear the proper suit and tie and shoes, and some of them come in training shoes. The Brazilians tend to be, shall we say, slightly more individual than the rest.
I trust you've tucked your shirt in anyway before you come on the CV this morning.
I did.
There's plenty of spice behind the scenes though in this game, isn't there? Because the Copenhagen manager has been critical of City's spending policy. Platini, the UEFA president, has even been critical. So City really have got it all to do tonight, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've taken the kind of old Wimbledon motto at no one loves us, we don't care. Hughes quite rightly fought his corner last night in the press conference, saying that people are too willing to take pot shots at a club that really has done no more than anyone else in terms of buying, £30 million players. I think United have bought them, and Liverpool have bought them, and Spurs have bought them. So just because they made a big bid for Kaka, everybody seems to be trying to beat them with a stick. So he's probably going to use it as an advantage, the fact that everybody's moaning at them and trying to get a siege mentality together.
Chris, on the subject of speculation with Mark Hughes, after the disastrous defeat against Portsmouth, a 2-0 loss, there was a lot of scrutiny and speculation over Mark Hughes' future. How important do you think this match will be? And, regards to the kind of football writers, will they be keeping a close eye on the performance and perhaps the future prospects of Sparky?
Yeah, not so much this match, but certainly this tie and this competition now could be central to whether he survives or not as manager beyond the end of the season, because quite frankly the away games that they've got left in the Premier League against the Big Four and Everton and Spurs and West Ham, you can't see many points coming from those games. So the league position may not be easy to improve. So this run in the UEFA Cup, if they can get to the last 8, the last 4, or even the final, could tip the balance in his favour with the owners.
Yeah, Harry Redknapp, the Tottenham manager, has said that the UEFA competition is nothing like his priority, but it most certainly is at City, because effectively this is all City have got to play for now this season, isn't it? Yeah, well,
you'd like to think that City are not embroiled in the same kind of relegation battle that Tottenham are at the moment. So. They can target this with some freedom and are doing so. He will put out his strongest side tonight, and he really does want to win it. So it is vital for the rest of the season and for Hughes' future and for some of the players, you would suggest as well.
No doubt Stephen Ireland will be one of the first names on the team sheet for tonight after his excellent form this season. Do you think there's any chance that he'll return for the Republic, and the other players are working on him, or do you think one of the reasons he is doing so well is because he's not got an international career at the moment?
Well, I think you're right in all those senses. I think he feels his game's improved because he's not got the added pressure of representing his country. And you're right to suggest that Richard Dunn and Shay Given are probably trying to persuade him to come back. It's not every day, certainly. Every time a game comes along, I think he's more embarrassed than anything about the Granny Gate affair, and I think his main worry is not the football side of it, but the media reacting to him to going back and how he would be greeted.
Well, Chris, let's hope he's wearing his Superman undercrackers this evening. But as always with these little chats we like to have with you, Chris, I'm going to put you under the spotlight and ask for a prediction for the scoreline for tonight.
Thanks very much. I think City will score. I'm not sure they'll win. I think it might be a 1-1 draw with City going through from the second leg in a week's time.
Yeah, I think it could be 1-1 as well. I think that would be...
Oh, you only say that because Chris said it.
No, I said it earlier.
Yeah,
you can always rewind and see what I said an hour ago. I think it'll be 1-1 as well, and I think that'll be seen as a decent result and set up nicely the return leg.
Good stuff. Well, thanks very much, Pete, and thank you very much, Chris, for joining us out in Denmark. And we'll have more sport on tomorrow's breakfast show starting at 6:30, and Pete will be back with the inside information next Thursday on the breakfast show. Now, sticking with sport, well, sort of, anyway. Ever heard of a rugby-playing pianist? Well, Sell Sharks, they've got just that. Here's Will Perry with more.
I'm an average musician. I was probably a bit better when I was younger, and that's when I learned. My mum's grade 8 at piano and violin, so she taught, because I've got 3 siblings, including me, 4. She taught us all, whether we wanted to or not.
So who was it? Philippe at the time came, rang your agent and said we need a hooker for a while?
Well, luckily for me, I worked so hard in the pre-season that I think Philippe spoke to people like Nacho, maybe Chris Mayer, Ben Foden, Christian Day, all those guys from Sale, and Kingsley spoke to a few of them and said, look, what's he like? Because at the moment, I'm getting bad reports from the coach. And so luckily for me, I think, you know, probably more so Nacho and people like that, and even Nick Johnson to a degree, said, look, he's playing, he trains really well. I haven't seen him play, but he trains really well, he works really hard. Yeah, give him a shot.